Well, welcome back everybody. My name's Andrew and you're watching the Kelley's Country Life. So it's going to be very difficult to hear me in this episode and see me because we are right in the midst of Tropical Storm Fred right now. It's coming on shore. It's been raining here all morning, but we're very fortunate. It's coming on shore a little west of us. Now we're on the east side, so we're getting all the rain and all the thunderstorms, but thus far this morning, it's just been rain and we're finally starting to see our first little bit of wind. So overall, not bad at all. We expect a ton of rain today, tonight, and into tomorrow according to the forecast. Hopefully, we don't wind up with any really bad wind, although we are under severe thunderstorm watches. All right, I'll step back inside where you should be able to hear me. And this is something we're gonna have to figure out as we move forward recording now until I get electrical. And that's gonna be a little ways down the road. What do we do on overcast days like this where it's so dark, I don't even think you can see me. I'll try to turn the brightness up in my editing software, but who knows? So the house is now officially wrapped, somewhat dried in, and couldn't come at a better time. We finished that yesterday. The storm hit today. Like I said, we're supposed to get a ton of rain over the next many days. So so thankful that the house is wrapped. So what I typically do whenever it's raining and nasty like this, we'll try to knock out some stuff inside. I think we're gonna get back to doing a little bit of blocking, a little bit of electrical. Y'all had a lot of questions and concern, but there's something really cool I wanna show you that just got dropped off. I think you are gonna be proud to see that I got some help yet again. Everybody's been so excited and happy here lately that I've been getting help. This is gonna be a huge help. Ready for this? Ta-da! So check this out. This is going to call my porch and inside the house home for the next 2 months. I finally broke down, decided to spend the money and rent a skyjack man lift. This will go up to like 19 feet. And this model is 32 inches wide, so you can see 32 inch wide by 19 foot reach. I don't need 19 feet. It'll easily get me up there. It's 16'6" to the peak where I'm gonna be working, so no problem. But I for sure wanna make for sure that I got a model that fit between a doorway. And I just threw down a couple 2x8s over there, and sure enough, I drove it around in the house. It'll get in there. So this is gonna help me do all of my electrical now. All electrical wires that we have to run through the roof, all the light boxes, fan boxes, all that stuff. I'm gonna be honest with you, I was getting a bit nervous working on this. The scaffold's been a blessing. It's already paid for itself. But it's gonna be so nice to be out here installing fans and light boxes and running wiring everywhere and literally just grab a joystick and go where I need to. Now I have to climb up, down, unlock wheels, lock wheels. Now I can run up and down the porch. This can help me do siding. So like I said, I'm gonna rent it for 2 months and I may wind up renting it a 3rd month because eventually when we do tongue and groove pine all in here, oh man, is it gonna be an absolute blessing for that for sure. So ouch, I did not want to spend the money, but when you really think about it, this is expensive, but the amount of work that it's gonna help me get done quicker, it's hard to put a price on that. I think it's totally worth it. Now I'm still gonna use my scaffolding here and I can set it up side by side for whenever I do my hardy board siding, and I think my scaffolding is gonna be much better for doing hardy board siding, especially side by side, because I get like work 10 to 12 feet, whereas you can't really do that with this right here. But for working at heights and moving around, this is the way to go, without a doubt. Now boy, how nice was that? Now I'll admit, this thing is really wobbly up here, but you can tell it can only go to a certain point and it will not tip over. This thing weighs over 3,000 pounds, which has me very concerned about it being on my concrete, but I'm on a 6-inch thick slab too. I just don't want any small cracks that could be there to open up with this. But I've seen no slab shifting, no problems. So it should be okay. And this also has non-marking wheels, which believe it or not, my scaffold doesn't even have. So I've been running it around this morning. It took me 5 minutes to learn this thing. Very simple to use. This is gonna be such a blessing. Check this out. That's 16 foot 6 inches right here. I can work with absolute ease. Now I can deck the underneath side, run my wiring, mount my light boxes, and drive on wherever else I need to go. So here's a view y'all have probably never seen before from way up here. Tell you what, you just don't realize how handy this laser is till you start using it. I can see it extremely well on this dark day, but I know it's hard to pick up on camera. So I just laid out our bar top here. We're gonna have a huge one, 111 inches long, because we're doing 15-inch overhangs and seating at it. We're not doing a dining room table in here. We never used one at our last house, but we wanted a lot of seating around this bar top. So what I need to do is put an outlet dead center. And I don't know if y'all can see the line that I shot. I may not even be doing this correctly, but what I did is I took 2 tape measures and I shot a line at 55 inches down here and lined it up with 55 inches there. So now I know it's absolutely perfectly square. So the line that is now shot up on the roof is dead center of the bar top. And I want to get a outlet right there, offset just a little, so we can hang pendant lighting right there and have somewhere to hook up power. Also, that dead center line I'm shooting across the room as well, because I want to line everything up visually with the biggest part of the room, which is the bar, for some loop wiring I'm going to put in later in case I want to add an extra set of lights. I'll show you that down the road. Now, probably one of the most comments that I have received on any video to date was people telling me, you forgot your microwave electrical box. I'm nowhere near done with electrical. I do appreciate y'all looking out for me, but I had every intention of coming back, putting this in, and there's a lot of other outlets that I want to move. Y'all had some awesome suggestions, and y'all caught a couple of mistakes that I made as well. We'll talk about those in just a second. Let's go ahead and get this microwave outlet box installed up here. I'm going to install it inside the short 15-inch cabinets that are up here. The microwave mounts right beneath it. So I'll just run the wire through the cabinet and straight into this dedicated outlet. Now y'all may or may not be able to see, I've got my laser shot again. It works beautiful on days like today. This outlet is for my refrigerator. And you know, I got to thinking, I put it in a horrible spot, especially if I'm required to run a GFI outlet on this, which sometimes refrigerators do not like. So I may change that after inspection, but in order to pass inspection, and in case it winds up staying there, this is a horrible location. So if this ever trips or gives me a fit, I have to pull the entire refrigerator out, and it may be full of food, and that's extremely difficult to get to. It'll make a whole lot more sense mounting the refrigerator outlet up here near cabinet height, but just behind it, so if it does have a trip or needs to be unplugged, plugged back in for whatever reason, I can get right behind the refrigerator and not have to pull it in and out every single time. So this box, I definitely want to move. And a lot of people ask me if I were setting this out for sheetrock. And I know a lot of y'all may not know about electrical boxes, but they have these tabs on there that can actually catch on the stud and will space it out and gap it out so the sheetrockers can cut around. Now you need to be mindful, are you doing 1/2 inch sheetrock on the walls? Are you doing 5/8, 3/4? We're doing your standard 1/2 inch, which these are set up very well for. They'll be recessed just inside the sheetrock, but they leave enough of a lip out that the guys can cut around it, and I can come back and install my cover plates. And I apologize, I know it's so hard to see. I'm gonna work on that. But another good catch that y'all caught was this box that I put in here and one back in the kitchen area. I didn't think about when you install the door, it has a wide trim, plus your box has a trim that sticks out whenever you put your cover plate on. Y'all said, hey, it's not gonna work right here. You have both of those things too close together. You're exactly right. So to solve that, I'm just gonna flip the box around and put it over here, or you could put another 1.5-inch block right there and kind of shim it out. Also, me and Tiffany talked, in this bathroom, instead of putting a GFI outlet in this box, we're gonna do a switch for the exhaust fan. We're gonna do a switch for the vanity lights and another switch for some extra can lights that we need to go ahead and install in here. So she wants it extremely bright while she's getting ready. The more lights, the better. Then I'm gonna put another box right here up on the countertop for a GFI outlet. We'll put it closer to the sink. I'm broke, y'all. I'm broke. All right, well, as y'all can see, it is a new day. This episode's probably going to go over 3 days. I have been doing a tremendous amount of errand running yesterday, today. I've just got a lot going on. Plus, I wanted a little bit of a break from the house, even though I did some electrical yesterday. I'm going to do some more tomorrow and include it in this episode. But I just got back from Lowe's. Oh my goodness. So, got a pile of lumber, probably a lot more lumber than I need, but we'll see. This is to build the upstairs loft, to frame out the walls for up there. And the good news is, I like to keep y'all updated. Y'all ask. A lot of people are looking to this channel for tips and ideas for building their house, but lumber is still dropping great. Now, the big box retailer, I just paid $4.30 for those 2x4s. That's great. That's half what it was just literally 2 months ago. So very pleased with that. And locally, we have people selling those for as cheap as like $2.80. Problem is, they're staying sold out because they're so cheap, people are buying them up. But I'm still happy with the $4 range. They still need to drop just a little bit. As far as the OSB I put on the house, it just made a huge drop. Went by Lowe's today, checked it out, down to $23. That stuff was up to 45, 50 bucks literally a month or two ago. So it is cut in half too. That's great. That's cheaper than what I bought all this OSB for the house many months ago. So today, man, I am still struggling with electrical. I bought out every single new construction junction box that Lowe's had. And now I'm starting to see boxes in colors I've never seen before. Gray, orange, black. They hardly have any blue boxes. Sadly, I needed a lot more round boxes than that. Well, a few more, but they just don't have them. And the guy in the electrical aisle said they're struggling getting them. Bought some exterior outlet boxes. I want to be really picky about those. I've got some ordered that are extremely expensive, but should look really good for the front half of the house. These are actually going to go up in the soffit on the corners. I'm going to run plugs out here for like Christmas lights and for motion lights. So I'm going to put plugs up in the corners. That was a good suggestion from a lot of y'all there. I definitely want outlets at 3 corners of the house in the roof. Went ahead and started getting stuff for vent fans. Bought a couple vent fans. Boy, I spent a while down that aisle right there. You can spend $300 on a vent fan if you want to. Crazy. But mainly I tried to find a quiet one that moved a decent amount of air. There's nothing high end about those at all, but they're not the cheap $18 ones either. Went ahead and got some soffit vents and things like that. I'm still playing around with how I'm going to vent these right here, but that's something I have got to go ahead and frame out in the bathroom and get vents ran ASAP. So we're going to work on that in a very episode coming up very soon. I had to special order the ductwork for that though, because I want insulated ductwork in case these build up condensation over the shower, and I think they will as they run up through the attic and everywhere else. That'll be here in a few days. Let's see what else. More electrical stuff in here that you can't see, from nails and straps. Finally got me a heavy duty fan box. This one's designed to like really bolt and hang on. Something, I don't know, something kind of special about this one here. Oh yeah, I see what's going on. It bolts to the side. It's also got tabs that stick in the wood, plus it nails, so that's just a lot of extra protection, and it feels like an extremely thick fan box. Zip ties, everything else. Now here was the other big disappointment for the day. I drove all over the place. I've been gone for hours. This is how I'm having to buy my wire, y'all. 250-foot rolls. I went to the big box stores and several places, actually, even some small hardware stores. I wanted a 1,000-foot roll. I want to buy a 1,000-foot roll at the time, or 500-foot rolls. Well, the kid at Lowe's says he can't remember the last time they've got 1,000-foot rolls. They can't get them. And they still had the sticker down on the floor. So I bought 4 250-foot rolls, and they are the same exact price as a 1,000-foot bulk roll. That makes no sense. Normally when you buy a big spool of wire, you get a heck of a discount. Same exact price. The only reason I don't like getting it 250 foot at a time is when it's 1,000 foot on a roll, I know whenever I make a pull that there's no way I'm going to be a few feet short and wind up with scrap pieces here, especially as expensive as this wire is right now. So I do not like buying it like that, but 250 foot was as big a roll as they had. And like I said, I checked several different places. So, ouch. We're going to try to make that work, and obviously I'm going to have to go buy more than that as well. They're getting pretty low on wire too. All right, so I've been listening to y'all. I decided to put outlets up in both sides of the cabinets, either side of the window, and a double gang switch box right here for under cabinet lighting. The way it looks, I can run under cabinet lighting through all these, and then maybe run a wire up into the cabinet, plug into an outlet. Same thing over here, and then put a switch in right here, as well as another switch for this single overhead sink light, which I've got spaced out, I think, just about dead center over the sink itself. Now, another good catch that y'all made was this outlet by the door. The door molding is probably going to be a little too wide and touch this. So I'm going to put another block in and kind of space this out, or I could even flip it around, but I think I'm going to space it out. I want to keep it relatively close to the door, but if we go another 1.5 inches out, there's no way the door molding is that wide right there, and that should give me room to put my cover plate on. All right, well, I think it's time to wrap this episode up. I've got some errands to run to pick up a few things, and then I'll start a new episode this afternoon. It'll carry on over a day or two. We'll just continue to do some electrical. While I have some boxes here, it's gonna be awesome to knock some stuff out. And I'm waiting on some other boxes to show up. I have just about everything I need for exterior boxes. Really wanna get those in. So we'll do that on the next episode. I'll show you the new style that I purchased and how I'm gonna put those in, kind of waterproof everything for a new construction exterior box, because I bought a very odd style because I'm very picky about how I want the outdoor exterior boxes to look. So also coming up in another episode too, we're gonna get upstairs, start building the loft. We need to do that, especially before we finish all the electrical, although we're a long ways from that. And sadly, the porch electrical, I can't really start on because I've decided to shim the ceiling out or drop it down with 1x4 wood strips. So I'll explain all that in the upcoming episode. So what I'm gonna do, it's about to be the weekend right now. I gotta build a really big Lowe's order, all the way from those 1x4 fern strips that I'm talking about. I've got to start doing all the calculations to figure out my hardy board siding, my trim, all that stuff. And I'm gonna try to get a decent order in next week, because next week's gonna be unbelievably busy, especially going into the following week after that. We're gonna try to knock out all the soffits around the house. I've got a special way that I'm gonna do that. And the reason I need to go ahead and get soffits knocked out, then I can go ahead and put my hardy trim in, start my lower trim. Hopefully I've got all the electrical done by then. I've already talked with the AC guy. Speaking of that, I've already talked with one guy. I've got another guy coming over. So I wanna get all of the exterior penetrations done through the house. We've got plumbing to do with that as well. So my brain is kind of all over the place, but we're trying to work toward getting siding on a couple sides of the house. I may even go ahead and paint it. We'll have to install windows because I'm trying to get some gutters up. Then I can kind of work with the yard, get some grass down, and get all this tin out of here and the yard washing away. So sadly, I hate doing this. I think the best thing I can do over the next many weeks, I'll be jumping back and forth between projects, not knocking one specific one out, because while I have the lift rented, I need to really be using that, getting my money's worth. So this is gonna constantly change. So we're gonna be giving y'all different types of videos every single day. Thank y'all so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.